Vegas skyline. Vegas Strip at night. Microsoft SharePoint Conference. Activities and people.
Jason Moore, thanks for joining us today.
Mr. Stephen Rose.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. You've gotten a new role since Ignite and when we talked last. Well,
That's true.
You and I have chatted quite a bit, but
Right.
with the people out here.
So I now am really running product all up for OneDrive.
Right.
We've kind of brought things together across the OneDrive experiences to have a single PM team for it. And it's been pretty exciting because it's such an awesome set of folks to work with. I'm excited kind of every day to come and work on behalf of the customers we have.
So I have a lot of questions for you. I mean, obviously,
Right.
why don't we start with this week? We had tons of great announcements. Your team
Yeah.
did an amazing job on pulling together some
good.
great sessions. What are some of the ones that really stand out as being your personal favorite?
Ooh, it's always hard to choose. You know, I mean, do you go with scan and all the improvements there? Do you go with camera roll upload and all the kind of experience that brings and the new capabilities that are coming to light? I love the team site auto mount work, but if I have to pick one, I think I would go with password protected links.
Okay.
So that's, creating links that you can set a password for and then share with anyone on the internet. And then even if they get that link, they need to have that password in order to unlock those files.
Yeah.
That, and then paired with our new capability to block downloads,
Right.
those two go together in a really sweet way.
Now, those were big on user voice. Let's take a moment and talk about that. We talked to Ryan about user voice. That's been a big ask from a lot of folks. So how are we looking at, it's sort of a two-parter. How do we look at all the feedback that we're getting? And then how does it really sort of drive engineering? How do you balance that? How do you balance evolution and revolution, the features that our customers are asking for we need to have versus things like files restored that they didn't know they needed, but now they can't live without kind of thing?
No, I think it's a great question. To me, I always break it down into three parts. I think the first is you have to actually truly understand the customer, not think you understand them or think you know them or put them in a bucket with a bunch of other similar customers, but actually understand what is it that they do, what is it that they need, what are the goals that they're trying to achieve. Because if you can understand that, you can also translate back and forth between kind of the tech capabilities and delivering on that. The second is, I always think of really understanding your product truth and understanding what the product's about. You can make a fly swatter that's also a spatula, but you're not really making something anyone wants. And so making sure that you're just not responding to those things, but really being thoughtful about it, I think plays a lot into understanding your product.
Is there a good example of that you can think of?
Kind of the challenges we always see are folks that ask for things where, they want to do something with a file that's not in the cloud and take it away from the cloud. And you kind of go, well, gosh, the cloud is where all this power is. We really want to be able to connect it back. So you kind of have that kind of conversation. The third item that I might call out in all of this, we had the understanding the customer, there's the product truth. It's understanding the technology and understanding the roadmap of what's going to be possible. How are you going to invent what's possible and how are you going to prioritize that? Balancing all three of those, I think, is what's necessary to really make customers happy and build products that are sustainable and reliable.
So you're sitting in a room full of your engineers. They're, I sit this meeting with you quarterly. These are the great things we want to do. How do you go, we want to do that, but why aren't we doing this? How do you balance that? I mean, how do you tell somebody their baby is not necessarily ugly, but there's no time for their baby now, or we need to bank on
focus
this one.
on something else? No, it's always a great balance, and kind of you're looking at the portfolio of what we're doing. So you want to understand both what are the things that you're hearing from customers, and you need to balance, kind of just being swayed by everybody asking for something versus someone asking for something very particular but absolutely crucial, as well as with kind of where is the industry going and what is the opportunity coming up. Files Restore is a great example. We had an opportunity across us and our partners in Windows to build something that was truly kind of next generation and being able to protect you from ransomware. And to go from not just getting the ransomware off your box or just getting the files back to a good state, but being able to complete an end-to-end scenario and then doing it in a way that reduces total cost of ownership of every device. So you really look for those kinds of magic things that will tie it together and take advantage of just when the moment's right to deliver that.
That's a tough thing to do. We've really gone through sort of a Phoenix-like rebirth of this product. I mean, I remember 2-3 years ago, people were like, OneDrive, I tried it, it didn't work. And we have, from the ground up, really rebuilt this product. And we have so many great customers moving over to it. We talked about MGM, dropping box, saving $750,000 coming to OneDrive. You chat with customers all the time. What are the big things that maybe they don't always know or don't understand, but when somebody says to you, so why should I pick OneDrive? I mean, I understand I can work with my files from any device, but I can do that with a lot of the competitors. Why OneDrive?
Right. No, it's a good point.
And you get it asked all the time.
No, exactly. Why would I choose this over something else? And I really look at kind of two different angles on it. The first is kind of the horizontal of the services we build on. When you think about OneDrive, you can't just say, hey, there is this one thing called OneDrive. It's actually part of a family called Office 365. And when you get OneDrive, you're getting Office 365.
Right.
And so that means things like compliance and security capabilities that are shared across all those endpoints. But it also means things like the intelligence that we build out of the Microsoft Graph becomes available to OneDrive, as well as things you do in OneDrive become available to that graph. So there's this horizontal around services that's just independent and special from something that you could do in a one-to-one matchup. And I think that powers a lot of what makes it attractive. The other one is on the endpoints. When you think about the deep integration, things like files restore, files on demand, we shipped with Windows last fall, but also capabilities like the Office client sync integration, where we're able to have a file that you've synced get loaded up into an Office app, and we instantly know that that file is in the cloud. We know where it is in the cloud and how to light up all those cloud capabilities, like co-authoring and collaboration.
Yeah, and even Discover View, which will show that off, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think those are the things that really make it different.
So it's different than, so I think a good way, and this is where I tend to see it as well, is you have a product that plugs into Office, allows you to store your files in the cloud, but it's not leveraging the power of not only Office 365, but now M365 as we leverage Autopilot, and that you have this replaceable PC scenario where there's your team sites, there's all your files, there's your email, not, okay, then we got to plug this in and connect this and really bring in those services together. So as we look forward to Ignite, because now we get a few days to sort of relax and kick back, and then we're full steam on that. What are some of the things as you are having your team start to look at? What are some of the rocks that we need to move?
We're starting to shape up. We're starting to see kind of what it's going to look like. If I gave two broad hints, I would first say, pay attention to some of the exciting stuff we're doing with Office, and I would watch for more cool stuff to happen across Office, OneDrive, and SharePoint. The other one is OneDrive is just going to keep getting smarter. So some of the intelligent stuff that we've shown this week, things like the hover car that we shipped earlier this year, being able to bring that into your experiences, I think you'll see us do more and more along those lines.
And we've been spending a lot of time, and this is something that Jonathan and Ryan and Jeff and I were talking about, is that we're not spending a lot of time with partners like Apple and Google and Android and so many folks, because it really is not just about doing this stuff just for PC, but really about building out this ecosystem. What's that been like working with these partners who are just so very different in how they do things, and not just putting an experience in there, but really being part of that, of what they're doing and making it integral?
Yeah, what I'd say is, this is where kind of really paying attention to the customer matters. Because the truth is, we want everyone to be able to use OneDrive and Office 365. We want to meet them where they are on their terms. And so our integration across things like our industry-leading apps on iOS and Android, or our sync client integration on Windows and the Mac, all of these and more are really all about how do we go meet the customers where they are and help them work the way they need to work. And I think if we do that well, and we have that in common with so many of our partners, whether it's the folks at Apple or other, they all want to make work for people, and so we have that kind of ability to go and serve a common customer, and so I think that drives a lot of the both support and innovation that happens across the industry.
I think that's great. So folks should go to OneDrive.com/business, and they can learn all about that. Our user voice is a great place to go. We were chatting about that, to really get in and make those suggestions. We were very proud that nearly 1 out of every 3 features that we brought to the product has come from user voice and from those customers, which is great. And then of course becoming part of our tech community, our fast track content that we're continually building out, which has been great. And of course the blog that this is on to kind of get all the latest stuff. And one of the great things that we're going to start to do is take the message center posts each month and wrap those into a single post at the end to really try to help folks out as they're moving over. So some really good stuff coming. Cool. Awesome. Thanks for taking time, Jason.
Thanks
I appreciate
a lot, Stephen.
it. Always good to see you.
time.
We'll chat soon. Thanks folks.
Uservoice.onedrive.com. Techcommunity.microsoft.com/OneDrive. Microsoft logo.